So I wanted to show you guys a couple of things that I found this week. A lot of you have asked, where did this come from? Where did this whole project idea come from? Who started this whole septic system, septic sewer system project? And I'll show you that in a moment here. But also, I want to show you guys this Eric Adams speech and a prior speech that he gave of the immigrant crisis problem that he has currently in New York City. A lot of you guys know that there's an illegal immigrant problem across our southern border right now. The federal government isn't, they're not keeping the border guarded, and they're allowing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants to cross over in short amounts of time, and they're just being overwhelmed in Texas. And Governor Greg Abbott has been busing those people to sanctuary cities. Chicago is one of them, and New York City is one of them, as you'll see. And they just can't handle all these immigrants. They have to send them someplace. They've got to send them, I imagine, Mayor Eric Adams has his problems, and he is probably sending them upstate New York or God knows where. He doesn't know what to do with these people. He's out of ideas, and you can bet that Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is having the same problems. I didn't find anything with her recently on this issue. She's been silent about it. I kind of like Eric Adams. He's been making a lot of mistakes under pressure, but he used to be the New York City um, police chief, I think, and I think he was doing the best job that he could, and I know that the Chicago police does the best job they can. They fall short, but when these guys turn into politicians, they just do what a politician does. They yell when they're told to yell. So anyway, let's start this off by taking a look at this article that I found. Um, this is from Illinois.gov, www.illinois.gov /news/press-release dot 26075.html. I'm sure if you Google search this title, um, Pritzker administration, 21 million. If you Google search that, I'm sure you'll find this. This was a press release from February 17th of this year. Let me just read it here. Governor JB Pritzker and the IEPA Director John J. Kim announced today 21 million in grants to 6 communities across the state through Illinois' EPA Unsewered Communities Construction Grant Program, made possible through the governor's bipartisan Rebuild Illinois capital plan. He's got a lot of big building projects. You guys seen that I-57 interchange that he's got? I-57 and I-74 interchange made a big mess up there, and it's, I don't know, what is it going to look like? I mean, it needed to be updated, but I hope he does a good job there. Anyway, quote from the governor: "No community should be forced to function without a high-quality water infrastructure system," said Governor JB Pritzker. "The historic Rebuild Illinois capital plan is ushering our state's wastewater infrastructure into the 21st century, providing solutions that work for everyone. Thanks to this grant program, residents across the state will reap the benefits of a safe home, clean streets, clean water, and clean air." We've already got that in Pesotum. We don't have a problem right now. Um, you know, we think that we're going to reach into the governor's pocket for $5 million, and there's not going to be any strings attached. Do we think that we're not going to create new problems of polluting our waterway and adding all sorts of bacteria and worms and parasites and all that stuff to that waterway? Is that going to help us out? Is that going to help the EPA? Is that going to help out our environment any? Anyway, this is the second of 5 planned funding rounds for this program, which provides fundings to areas where there are currently no wastewater collection and/or treatment facilities. Blah, 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 blah. You guys can read the rest of this if you look up this article. provides up to 1 million annually in smaller scale grants. Shame on you if you want to go reaching into the governor's pocket for his candy money, for his grants. There's a saying that you can't cheat an honest man, right? So if we were honest, we would say, thanks, but no thanks, Governor. We don't need this. Save this for communities who need this, right? But because we want to be dishonest and say, oh yeah, if the governor's giving out money, let's go grab it and let's upgrade our town, right? The governor's going to pay for it, right? Well, there's strings attached, guys. There's strings attached. They've got a migrant crisis going on, right? Chicago's got to house all these migrants, and Chicago 20 years ago, they closed down all the factories and all the businesses, all the small businesses, the machine shops and print shops, and they closed all that stuff down, and they were converting Chicago into Yupsterville, I watched it happen up there at that time. They were turning everything into these $100,000 condos. Now I'm sure they're over $200,000, and they were converting apartment houses into condominiums and selling it to young yuppies. They imagined turning Chicago into just one big sea of a yupster paradise, where little young urban professionals who are doctors, lawyers, and engineers or whatever could just come and they could go to the cafe, and they could go to the nightclubs, and then they could go do their jobs, and they could come home and hang out together, right? And they didn't have to look at the horrors of suburban life, right? So, but they wanted to get rid of those housing projects. They mowed down Caprini Green, and they got rid of the Robert Taylor homes. They wanted to send all their problems away and turn Chicago into a big yuppie paradise, So I think this is just more of the same. But anyway, let's take a look here at some of the villages that have signed up for the governor's multi-million-dollar grant program. Braceville in Will County will receive $4 million. With this grant, the village, a completely unsewered community, that sounds terrible, doesn't it, will be abandoning approximately 315 septic tanks located throughout the village. Maybe a low-pressure sanitary sewer collection system will be installed that will pump sewage to the treatment plant located in nearby Diamond. I don't know where that's at. We're not going to get that, but take a look down here. The village of Rutland. This sounds a lot like Pesotum. In LaSalle County will receive $5 million. As another completely unsewered community, the village's sanitary service is currently treated by septic tanks with effluent draining to drainage fields and field tiles. That's kind of what we have in Pesotum right now. So, hold on a second here. Okay. Project will connect 143 customers to the new collection system and treatment plant. Maybe it will, or maybe it'll just leave them on their current system until they pay to connect their own system, right? The new sanitary sewer collection system will include 2 lift stations with standby power generators. The new sewage treatment system will include an aerated lagoon with a 3rd stage filter. If you want to see how these work, just visit any trailer park near you. You can see that they've got a big mega septic lagoon that that their kids can splash around in and contract all sorts of bacteria and worms and parasites and gut parasites and improve their lives, right? So this village of Rutland sounds like Pesotum to me. Except they only have 143 customers, and they're getting $5 million, and we've got 218 customers. So, the governor has the reality is that the governor has a problem, and he's got migrants, he's got Section 8 people, he needs to get them out of Cook County, he doesn't have any more place for them, right? And they don't want to take up all that valuable real estate up there for those people, so they want to come down here. They want to buy up some of this farmland. They want to set up these mega apartment complexes. And, you know, if you think of the housing projects from the, whenever it was, the 50s and the 60s, they wanted to get rid of the war on poverty. President Johnson, Lyndon Johnson, declared a war on poverty, right? And he wanted to stamp out all this poverty, and so he created these housing projects, and we all know how those turned out. They knocked them down in, I think, the late 90s or early 2000s in Chicago, and they were such a failure they had to pretend that they never existed, right? Knock them down. And when you take away people's dignity, and you don't, you say, oh, you can live in these housing projects, and we'll give you these free government welfare checks and free housing, which is what Section 8 is. It's, subsidized housing for low-income people. And, we just call it Section 8. We don't call it the housing projects anymore. When you do that, you take away people's dignity, their ability to work, and you even tell them, you're not allowed to work. Because if you make too much money, you get knocked off of your unemployment, you get knocked off of your Section 8 housing. You're not allowed to work. You're not allowed to get married. You can have all the kids you want, but you can't get married. You can't give your kids a family. So I mean, this is where all the broken people come from. You have your government sponsoring poverty. They're investing in poverty, and when you invest in poverty, you just get more of it. They're not fixing the problem by helping people up. They're making sure that people get this free money, and they keep them down. They keep you on a government plantation, and they're just doing the same thing that they did with the housing projects all over again. They're just trying to move their problems into your small town. So anyway, they need to wise up. They need to wise up and acknowledge they've made mistakes. But anyway, let's take a look at here at hold on a sec here. All right, so let's take a look here at this video here of Eric Adams, the New York City governor, or mayor, the mayor of New York City, on what he has to say. He's going to speak out of both sides of his mouth here. So this is what city mayors do, and city village presidents, right? Village president is the mayor, right? So let's hear what Eric Adams has to say about the migrant crisis, and his Section 8 housing's all full. He doesn't have any more room in his Section 8 housing. Maybe Pesotum can handle this Section 8 housing, right? We got to set up new housing. We got to pay these big mega builders to build up all this new housing to resettle all these immigrants in all these small towns, right? I mean, Governor Pritzker's forward-thinking. He's got a great plan. So let's see what Eric Adams has to say.
Madman down in Texas decided he wanted to bus people up to New York City. 110,000 migrants. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. We have to feed, clothe, house, educate the children, wash their laundry sheets, give them everything they need, health care. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian-speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. The city we knew we're about to lose.
You pledged during your campaign to keep New York City a sanctuary, a city. Do you have any concern that policy is attracting more people to the border, more people to cross the border to make that dangerous trip?
No, not at all. This city has always been a sanctuary city, and we've always managed those who wanted to come to New York City to pursue the American dream.
So what do you guys think about that? I mean, I think he's got quite a problem on his hands. So, anyway, ask your mayor, ask your village president, Joyce Regal, about this. You know, what strings are attached to this $5 million governor's grant? What strings are attached? You know, what's going to happen to our town? Are we really going to grow the way that we think we are? Take a look at this this article again. I'm going to put a link in the description here. This is www.illinois.gov/news/press-release.26075.html. Tell me what you think.